Hi, my name's Steve Walker, and today I'm going to give you some snippets, which are important snippets about the future and what's coming around the corner. So if you're self-employed, you need to watch. If you're a landlord, you need to watch. If you're interested in climate control and the effect that's going to have on lenders underwriting going forward, you need to watch that. Green mortgages, we've got a bit on that, and a little bit on shared ownership as well. So I'm going to really whiz through this quickly. I'm at the Specialist Lending Summit today, where 80 to 100 of the top lenders and distributors in the sector come together and they talk about what's happened in the past, but more importantly, what's going to happen in the future. So stick with me, and hopefully you'll learn some important information. So let's just very quickly mention shared ownership. Property prices are going up. Mortgages are still, there's still affordability checks, so people can't borrow as much as they used to borrow. So shared ownership is going to be one of the next big things. So think about it. If you're looking to get on the property ladder, think about shared ownership. Google it, find out more. Now let's talk about the self-employed. Now, a survey has recently been done by one of our lenders, and they found out that most self-employed believe what high street banks tell them. So if a high street bank says we can't help, that's the end of their search. They don't really know about specialist lenders in the sector who design and distribute products specifically for the self-employed. 8 out of 10 self-employed people don't use brokers. So that's bad news, because that means they're missing out on big opportunities. And 50% of self-employed live in a house which actually is below what they can afford or what they could have, because they don't know about the lending that's available to them. And 42% still live in their first home. So if you're self-employed, I think the key message that's coming out of this is there's a whole load of specialist lenders out there. You're not going to find them on the high street. You've got to go to a broker. The broker has access to these specialist lenders. They have products designed specifically with you in mind to help you get a mortgage, whether it's a mortgage or a remortgage or indeed a buy-to-let. But there are products out there for you, so talk to your broker. Something else for if you're self-employed, talking to lenders, so many have been self-employed have been affected by COVID. There are lenders who are now looking at and understanding the fact that you had a great business before. COVID has given you a hard time, but if you've had a great business before and you've now got 3 months or so trading back towards where it used to be, or certainly trading back towards where it needs to be to support the mortgage that you're looking for, they'll look at it. They're not going to necessarily penalise you by saying, well, we're going to look at your last year's accounts, because you haven't even done them yet, or your last year's management accounts. So there's a common sense approach being taken by specialist lenders. Anyway, talk to a broker. Green. So if you're looking at building a house, okay, and you're looking to have low or zero emissions for that house, it's a good idea, because one, lenders are now looking at offering lower rates for greenhouses. Okay, not for greenhouses as in the glass ones you put tomatoes in, but houses which have green credentials. So take it very seriously. What was really interesting that came out for me, and this was a case study from some properties in Scotland, where they were valued by a valuer at £450,000, and they were virtually zero emissions. And the valuer, he put them into that sort of money because that's comparable to what other properties were on the market for. They sold for £650,000. So people are paying a premium for houses which have got the green credentials. So don't lose faith, keep going, and you'll get a better mortgage. There are discounts already, more are going to come in, and your property will be worth more. As we move into this greener period, you'll start to see, I think, houses which have got the green credentials and tick the boxes selling for significantly more than properties which have had nothing done. On the subject of properties that haven't had anything done, are you a landlord? Okay, well, what's coming around the corner? You know that you have to have an EPC. You probably also know that there's new regulations coming in, so that's got to be an EPC, an energy performance certificate with category A, B or C. And if you want to let your property from 2025 onwards, you have to tick those boxes. So that means if you're not there now, you need to be looking at upgrading your property. And after 2028, if you're not there, even existing tenants, you can't let your property. But what's important, you need to think about this, is if you're on a fixed rate now, and that fixed rate is due to end in 2025, let's say it's a 5-year fixed rate deal, at that point you're going to be thinking, great, I need to remortgage. if you haven't got A, B, C or D EPCs, you won't be able to remortgage because lenders are going to require it. Okay, so think about that. Start upgrading your property now. And if you upgrade your property, it should be more efficient, so you should save money in the long term. So do it. But there are also discounts on mortgages which will be coming in again for properties with higher EPC categories. So it's worth thinking about and worth doing, something for the future. Final point, and this was a really interesting one, lenders are now looking at climate change and what's the effect going to be down the road. So they're now starting to pull on data, and apparently there's a database that exists which can pinpoint to within 3 square meters the effect on any property of coastal erosion, flooding or subsidence as a result of climate change. Now subsidence, you think, well, what's that got to do? Well, water tables changing, those sort of things. So that's going to factor in to what lenders are thinking about going forward. They're going to be underwriting loans based on the energy efficiency of your property and the likelihood of it being affected by climate change. And they're going to give discounts for those properties which tick all the boxes, and those that don't even come close to ticking the boxes, they are not going to lend on. So it's important things to think about there as we move forward. So I hope you found that interesting. I found it interesting. It's a great day today. We've got some more tomorrow. I have no idea what's going to come out of that. But have a think about those points. And most importantly, especially you self-employed guys, talk to your broker. There's products out there that you probably don't know about, and they will help you not only in your house, but for personal finance reasons and even for business purposes. Talk to your broker. That's all for now. My name's Steve Walker, Promise Money, and I hope you found this useful. Bye-bye.